Hey neighbor, here it is in June, and I got 8 varieties of winter squash or hard squash that are my favorite ones that you can plant now, and they're going to be coming off sometime in September. Most of these are 90 to 110 days to maturity, so they're going to be maturing out ready for harvest in September, which is perfect going into the fall of the year. We can enjoy those soups, and we love roasting them. Several different ways to consume, to eat these hard squash. Some people call them winter squash. A great crop to grow during the summertime to harvest in the fall. And we're going to go over my 8 favorite varieties, and then I'm going to give you some growing tips on how you can be successful doing it. All right, the first one here is Small Wonder Spaghetti Squash. If you've never grown spaghetti squash before, these things are fun and delicious. What I like about this one, it's kind of a personal size one, so it's not real big, about 3 pounds per fruit. And look here, it's a pepo, but it does vine a little bit, so you need a little space for it, but it's a smaller fruit, which is ideal because you don't waste a lot of them, especially for these just a couple of people that you're trying to feed. So it is a wonderful, one of our favorites. Mama Halls has it growing in her garden right now. I'll show them to you in a little bit. All right, next I got Delicata Squash, which is probably in my top 2 favorite ones. And the reason is it's a sweet, has a very high sugar content. It is a pepo type, but I'm gonna tell you what, this thing here is absolutely delicious. 100 days to maturity. It does have some vining to it, so you need a little room to give it because it is gonna vine out a little bit, but a wonderful, it doesn't store long, but the flavor on this one is off the chart. All right, I told you Delicata was one of my favorites. This is my other favorite. My top 2 as far as eating quality is Delicata and Sweet Dumpling Squash. Now these make a smaller fruit right here, and they average about 8 to 10 fruits per plant. It is a pepo type again, 100 days to maturity here. I love to stuff these things in the oven. Delicious. Put your little sausage in there, maybe some cream cheese, roast these things and stuff them in the oven. Wow. They don't store really good, but it's worth it because eating quality is so great. All right, we got to have an acorn squash, don't we? Table King Bush acorn squash makes a very compact plant. So this one is ideal for raised beds. If you guys don't have a lot of room, this has got a very tight bush to it. This is a good one. We love our acorn squash right here. This one has some disease resistance to it. 80 days to maturity, so it's going to come off a little bit quicker than some of the rest of them. But for an acorn squash, especially in a raised bed, this is my pick. All right, folks, here's an old heirloom variety. The first time I seen this was at a farmer's market in Blairsville, Georgia. North Georgia Candy Roaster. Woo, it's a little bit of a weird shape here, but this is a pretty one to grow. It's an heirloom, so it don't have a lot of disease resistance, but it's worth it, I guarantee you. Give this thing a little room to grow here. It is going to store a little bit better than some of the rest of them I've mentioned here. One fruit off this here can make as many as 3 pies. So a lot of meat in these things, unusually good heirloom flavor to them. It's worth it. All right, folks, how about a Kabocha Squash? This right here is an open pollinated variety, and this particular one is hailed as one of the best tasting squashes out there. It has a yellow orange flesh and has a kind of a nutty sweet flavor. Now, if you buy pumpkin, canned pumpkin in the grocery store, more than likely it is a Kabocha style or Kabocha type squash. Produces 3 to 4 pound fruit, and it vines out pretty sprawling, so you need a little room for it. Edible, emerald skin on it. It is very prolific. 95 days to maturity, and what's wonderful about this, it can store up to 6 months. So Kabocha squash, hadn't grown any in the last year or 2, but I've grown several years. I've grown this right here. It is a wonderful, makes a nice sized fruit, is what I like about it. Okay, red Kuri Squash has got to be one of the prettiest winter or hard squashes I've ever seen. These things are absolutely beautiful. Have a bit nice red color to them right there. It's an open pollinated. It is a Hubbard type squash, and it is sweet, delicate, fresh. It's great for making pies, soups, breads, any of that kind of stuff. 95 days to maturity, and it stores not the best, but it does store well. All right, folks, one of our best sellers is Hoss Butternut Squash. Hybrid, improved productivity with more uniformly spaced fruits. It has a very vigorous vines on it, and it has 5 to 6 pound fruits and a very heavy producer, 105 days to maturity. What I love about this particular butternut squash is it has a bigger, blockier fruit to it, so it has more meat in it. It doesn't have that skinny, tall part that a lot of our heirloom varieties have. This thing is real blocky and has a lot of meat in it compared to the size fruit it has. With a lot of these winter squash or hard squash, you need to give them room. This is the first year we've actually tried and grown them vertically on a trellis here, and what we got is a cow panel here. And we've had to train these things a little bit, but this has worked out really good, and for a couple of different reasons. One is we're taking up less space. We're growing up instead of growing out. Another thing is we're keeping our vines away from the ground here, so it has seemed to help with our disease problems. We've got drip tape underneath there, so we're watering the root system. But downy and powdery mildew is a terrible disease for our winter and hard squash. And when we keep these leaves elevated up, it seems to help a little bit with that. Especially you guys that are growing in raised beds, this is a good option for growing our winter and hard squashes. Keeps them off the ground, growing vertically, helps with disease, takes up less space. Another thing is our fruit doesn't touch the ground, so we don't have as much problem with wireworms and things like that damaging our fruit. So it keeps our fruit a lot more protected. Well, my concern with growing these things on the trellis was I didn't know if our fruit, especially our bigger fruit, and as you can see right here, this is our Hoss butternut squash. And I just talked about a few moments ago how blocky it was. You see there how blocky that is? I was concerned about the vine having enough strength to support that big of a fruit. Doesn't seem to be an issue. Seems to have worked out really good. So growing even these bigger fruits on these trellises right here seems to be like the way to go. Now this is a small one, the spaghetti squash that Mama Hoss has got growing in a raised bed, a really small raised bed, but these things do trellis out, and you can tell here she had to give them room, and she's got room to let them spread out a little bit. But this right here is about the size these things make, which make them a personal size here. So pick the winter squash to grow that suits your growing conditions. If you got plenty of room, you can use some of the vining type ones. But if you're growing in raised beds, you want to use these varieties that are better suited for raised beds. And also keep in mind, well, any of them, we can do the vertical gardening where we use a trellis of some sort to grow up. Now, let's get into the disease and insect issues with these plants. The fact of the matter is we love them, but they are susceptible to powdery mildew, downy mildew, and squash bugs and vine borers. Further south you live, the more problem you're going to have with downy and powdery mildew. They are the biggest two disease problems on cucurbits and winter squash, hard squash by far. There are some things we can do to make our crop successful. Number one is we want to make sure that we water with drip irrigation at the base of the plant. Leaf wetness, humidity is the enemy on these plants because that harbors and makes these diseases manifest. So keeping that water at the base of the plant is going to help dramatically. And plus, during the summertime, we may get into a dry spell, and we got that drip irrigation there to deliver all the water it needs at the right place very easily. Now, insect and disease control. Now this right here, if you want to be successful, you got to follow this recipe pretty dadgum tightly. These 3 fungicides right here, Liquid Cop, Garden Phos, and Fungamax. You want all 3 of them. And the reason is we want to rotate these because each one of them has a different mode of action. If we use just one, we can be missing something. When we put these 3 together and we spray one week, one the next week, and one the next week, then we go back to the first one with a rotation there. We cover all of our bases on modes of actions and disease problems. Now, takeout is an insecticide. We can mix takeout with any one of these 3 fungicides right here, and we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So we're managing our squash bugs and our vine borers, and we're also doing disease control at the same time. So this is my recommendation. Take takeout and mix it with one of these 3 fungicides on a rotation there and spray every 7 days. Get good coverage on the leaf there, and that's going to keep those mildews at bay, and that's going to keep our squash bugs and our vine borers controlled so we make a good crop here. If we do that every 7 days and keep on a tight schedule going all the way in right before harvest, we're going to keep a nice clean plant and have a good harvest.